It's taken some adjusting, but I think this team is starting to gel. They can win in different ways.
On the court, they don't have a defensive weakness. Now we move on to the fifth seeded team in the East. They've been red hot recently, tied for the second best record in the league since January 1st. The Phoenix Suns have the best record in the league since the new year. But second is the Boston Celtics, the fifth seed, my favorite team. So I'm a little biased here, and I'll say that up front. But Chow, how do you feel for the Celtics, pretenders or contenders? And don't hold back just because I'm a fan.
Listen, I've been in a little behind the scenes. I've been kind of half joking, but with John about the Derek White effect. And maybe it's gone in my head too, because honestly, I could see the Celtics as contenders, and I think I'm going to put them there. We talk about teams, shortening your bench, and I think still, if the Celtics shorten their bench, they're still a really good team. They can win in different ways. I think you mentioned they're one of the best, if not the best, one of the best defensive teams, especially since the Derek White trade. And they've seemed to kind of put it together. I think we forget this is the first year under a new head coach, Ime Udoka, especially for some of these guys like Jaylen Brown, or really just everybody, but mainly their star Tatum and Brown, because before they've had is Brad Stevens, and now they have a new guy in the air, so it's taken some adjusting, but I think this team is starting to gel, and yeah, like we mentioned, they can win in different ways. They could win small ball, or they can have Al Horford and Robert Williams, I'm sure, out there, and we've seen Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, especially Derek White, but even Peyton Pritchard recently kind of stepping up to be the 6th, 7th, 8th guys off the bench and contribute that way. So yeah, I think this is one of the low key kind of scary matchups for any team to face, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Celtics make it to the finals. But I think more realistically, they're going to make some noise, and I won't be surprised they shock a few fans. With maybe a first or even a second round win to really to shock everyone. So. Yeah, I think that the Celtics are for real, man.
Yeah, like I said, I'm biased. I absolutely think the Celtics are contenders. And so, take this as you will, because I am a Celtics fan. But they currently have the number one defensive rating in the entire league on the whole season. And this includes the first half of the season, in which they were kind of hovering around 500. But since January 1st, like I said, they have the second best record in the league. I believe it's like 27-5 or something like that since the start of the new year. So they've just been on fire. With the last 20 games that Marcus Smart has played in, because he has been in and out a little bit, they've gone 18-2. And I think, like you said, the key there is the Derek White trade. At first, I wasn't a fan because of the long-term effects, but just on the court, they don't have a defensive weakness in about 7 players deep. Think back at previous Celtics teams with Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, even Isaiah Thomas. Those guys were all easily exploitable on defense, and you just had to have them on the court because of how valuable they were on offense. Now, a lot of your main lineups are going to include some sort of combination of Marcus Smart, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Al Horford, Rob Williams, and Grant Williams. And so now you got 7 players who are all very good defenders. And Grant, it's okay if you forgot about him because he's kind of underrated. But Grant actually has been amazing this year. Like, he's hitting, I think, like 52% of his wide open threes, and he's hitting like 45% on catch and shoot from the corner. So he's been really good at this sort of why am I blanking on his name? Played for the Rockets, PJ Tucker. He is weird because he was compared to PJ Tucker coming out of the draft, but like that's the role that he's filled for the Celtics, as this weird sort of tweener, small ball 5, but mainly a 4. And he's agile enough to guard people on the perimeter, but also, big enough to guard people on the interior. But overall, I just think the Celtics defense is the reason they are a contender. On top of that, you have 2 elite scorers in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who can go out there and get their own bucket. Now, the key concern for the Celtics is obviously going to be playmaking. You have Marcus Smart, Derek White, and Peyton Pritchard, who can all kind of get other players involved. Even Jayson Tatum has improved his playmaking drastically this year. Even Al Horford can do it. But they don't have like that true playmaker like a lot of these other playoff teams have, like a James Harden, or guys like that, Chris Paul, who can just get other players on the team involved. So they have a lot of players who are solid at it, but nobody who's like really good at it. So that's the key concern for me. But overall, I think that Ime Udoka and his coaching, especially on the defensive end, like I said, the ability to unlock Robert Williams defensively by using him as this off-ball defender. I don't know if you watch the Celtics, just watch for this. They try really hard to keep Robert Williams out of the pick and roll defense, not because he's bad at it, but because he's really good as a weak side shot blocker coming off from his man. So he'll even at times switch on to guards in the corner and let Al Horford guard the pick and roll so that he can come in and try and swat the shot while Al Horford can stay disciplined and on his feet. So anyway, I think the Celtics are contenders, like I said, because their defense. If that was a long rant, I'm sorry. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm biased, so take that for what you will.